Summary of Anxious to Please. 7 Revolutionary Practices for the Chronically Nice. By James Rapson and Craig English. You can be too nice. Chronically nice people actually suffer from feelings of pervasive guilt and lack of self-regard. They crave attention and recognition, so much so that they settle for any notice they receive and continue to be nice even to callous or insulting people. Chronic niceness is not so nice after all, since it originates from chronic anxiety. Nice people's problems begin within their relationships with their parents. Instead of a strong, healthy childhood emotional bond, or secure attachment, they experienced an anxious attachment, in which they did not get enough of the love and nurturing they needed. The modern era's consumer culture, dual careers, and lack of family networks to help tend children put enormous pressure on parents. Poorly supported mothers and absent fathers raise anxiously attached children. As adults, they keep looking for approval. To gain it, they feel they must suppress their negative feelings such as hostility, anger, and desperate need. In contrast, the transforming person is on a path from a continual state of anxiety to emotional health. To become a transforming person, you must recognize that the anxiety in your life comes from within you, even when it seems to be circumstantial. Niceness and gender. Conflicting cultural messages in the home, workplace, and media increase the likelihood that women will develop anxiety and choose nice person tactics to take the edge off their nervousness. Boys who grow up in female-headed households or whose father's work leaves little time for parenting learn about masculinity from women, who portray men as brutal and unemotional. They feel guilty about their gender and become nice guys to compensate. Nice people idealize their romantic partners, usually without realizing it. They put them on a pedestal. They ignore less-than-ideal character traits and all-too-human potentially painful situations. They seek to neutralize an imperfect reality with this defensive reaction. They make sacrifices for their significant others, in the hope that their partners then will be eternally grateful. Often, they suppress the personal cost of such sacrifices. They are buffeted by contradictory emotions. They believe in an all-healing romantic love, but they suspect that their partner will eventually reject them. The following 7 practices will help you become aware of whether anxiety is limiting your growth, so you can overcome it. But simply reading about these practices won't lead to transformation, you must take action. 1. Awareness practice. To start your awareness practice, focus on your thoughts, emotions, actions, and physical sensations. Intentionally stay in the present moment. The trick is to become aware of your anxiety, the covering words and nice behaviors, without judging it. Use this first step to break the habit of harsh self-judgment. Notice the strategies you use to avoid feeling anxious. Do you space out when the going gets tough? Do you use drugs, alcohol, TV, shopping, or other soothing distractions to remain unaware? Do you create a story depicting your great life and cling to it no matter what? Do you constantly clench your muscles? Are you so wrapped up in solving other people's problems that you have no time for your own? Do you always have some seemingly objective reason for your latest bout of anxiety? Awareness practice releases the negative charge of a thought or emotion. As the anxiety loosens its grip, you will begin to feel better. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself a break. 2. Desert practice. In desert practice, you withdraw in a structured way from people, thoughts, and behaviors that distract you. This withdrawal takes place in a certain space, has limits, you remain in contact with some people, and has an end point. In desert practice, you cultivate solitude, personal autonomy, and friendships. You temporarily step back from sex and romantic attachments. Focus on self-care, shift the responsibility for your happiness onto yourself. As a nice person, you may not know even basic things about yourself and your tastes. Tune into your inner voices. Find out what you want, find out what you like. Start with externals, such as aesthetics. Do you like your wardrobe? Your room? In desert practice, you get to know yourself. You realize that your anxieties don't dissipate even though you've removed yourself from the people and daily events that you may have thought were their source. In isolation, the thoughts and sensations you need to confront become more obvious so you can address them calmly. 3. Warrior practice. To become a warrior, you need both courage and compassion, the courage to face the anxieties that arise as you consciously scrutinize yourself, and the compassion to understand and live with these anxieties. As you become a transforming person, you'll struggle with internal demons. Prepare for battle by cultivating the 3 characteristics of a warrior. 1. Develop your personal ethical code. 2. Learn to wield strong emotions rather than simply react to them. 3. Learn to integrate emotional and ethical issues into a course of action. Warriors must also exercise restraint. Sometimes that means not confiding in someone you don't know well. Sometimes it means refraining from agreeing with your date just because you want him or her to like you. Coming to terms with your anxiety through warrior practices will unleash an enormous amount of energy. Use it to take care of yourself physically, through exercise, healthy eating and wise management of mood-altering substances such as caffeine and alcohol. Warrior practice leads to calm self-assurance and greater personal power, which can be scary for a formerly nice person who is used to ingratiation. Let your personal code inform your actions. 4. Brotherhood and sisterhood practice. Cultivating platonic friendships will give you a nurturing support system. Non-sexual friendships can give you a safe, comfortable environment in which to explore the nature of masculinity and femininity. Friends can be especially important during desert practice, to keep you from intense isolation and flights of sexual fantasy. Choose friends who will be honest with you. Women tend to get together simply to enjoy their relationships, whereas men often need an agenda, work, activity, or play. Because of homophobia, some men feel uncomfortable in purely social gatherings without women. Don't let fear and prejudice stop you from cultivating valuable, same-sex friendships. Of course, non-sexual friendships aren't always smooth sailing. Underlying feelings of competition or betrayal can keep you from fully trusting a friend. When looking for brothers and sisters, ask yourself, what is the smallest change I can make that still feels like it would make a difference? Bringing your warrior ethic and sensibility to friendships can ensure that you develop mutually respectful, productive, mature relationships. The good news is that once you learn to manage anxiety, your nice person traits, such as being a good listener and being compassionate, can make you into a really fine friend. 5. Family practice. Understanding your familial relationships can clarify the origins of your nice behavior. Thus, writing about your personal history can be a transformative practice. Ask relatives to tell you family stories. Analyze their various roles, looking for inherited patterns in light of events and cultural dynamics at the time. This will help you study your family with some objectivity and eventually acknowledge the deficits in how you were raised. No family can fulfill every need. Recognizing gaps will help you move beyond them. Your family will never fulfill those needs, the time for that is past. As an adult, you are responsible for your life. Launching is the developmental stage when children leave their families and establish an autonomous life. Nice people are often stuck on the launching pad, even when they appear independent, because they live separately from their family. They still seek their family's approval and security. Through a process of differentiation, adults learn to express the complete range of their personalities more fully. As you transform yourself, you will also transform your family relationships. Some people discover that remaining in contact with certain members of their families is unhealthy for them. Most often, however, when people quit trying to adapt their behaviors to fit in, accepting their families becomes easier. 6. Disillusionment practice. Nice people routinely fantasize about perfect relationships that will fulfill their deep needs for nurturance and approval. Yet, paradoxically, they expect their relationships to end in pain. They crave intimacy, yet fear that revealing too much of themselves will drive their partner away, even though intimacy is impossible without honesty. Disillusionment practice helps you root out these contradictory fantasies and develop honest, realistic relationships. Nice people often seek a goddess or a prince. Women fantasize about a prince charming who will rescue them and take them to live happily ever after. Men imagine a goddess, even while fearing the devastation of losing her love. Both project exaggerated virtues onto people they don't really know. They engage in fantasy relationships rather than real ones. They want their partners to make all the major decisions and they worry about their partner's opinion of them. These fantasies, which make reality untenable, create stress, frustration, and emotionally dishonest behavior. Often this type of worship leads to self-neglect. The foundation of goddess or prince fantasies is that a single individual can meet all your needs. Instead, you must develop your personal strengths and fulfill your own needs. Until you become truly self-reliant, you will have to fake it. Luckily, this works just as well. Acting as you think a self-reliant person would act teaches you how to become that person in reality. When you learn to look at your romantic relationship as a true partnership, you're on your way to maturity, especially if both of you are transforming people. Remember, though, that intimacy requires privacy. To strengthen your level of intimacy, be sensitive to your partner's need for privacy and protect your own. Openness and honesty help. Disillusionment practice requires you to see your partner the way he or she really is, flaws and all. Accepting your flaws and those of others teaches compassion. Conflict is never comfortable. Handling intense emotions, whether yours or your partner's, is not easy. But if you are able to express your feelings clearly and refrain from saying hurtful things, you and your partner may emerge with a stronger relationship. Confronting conflict creatively clears the air. The foundation of creative conflict is trust. Try to preserve it under all circumstances. 7. Integration practice. Finally, you must make all 6 previous practices into regular parts of your life and character. Gradually change your habits and patterns of thought. Pack your bags for change by cultivating the following attitudes. Open your mind to change. Accept responsibility for running your own life. Prepare to leave behind unhealthy relationships. These 7 practices will help you to become a stronger, more emotionally integrated person, someone who is truly kind rather than just nice.